why we're talking about it now? I mean, has something suddenly changed that everybody is talking about sustainability and digitalization for the last few years? There have to be some changes. And you might have seen this term industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Typically, the presentation you might have seen is step, right? You go 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 4, right? The way I explain, and if it makes you can tell me, anything, whether it's a product or service, there are two scenarios. One is high mix or low mix, means high mix is you're customizing a lot of things. Low mix is you're doing standard things, right? Low mix is basically you're making a bottle of water, but millions. But high mix is you're making every custom bottle for everybody of you, every one of you. Similarly, it could be either high volume or low volume. Means, are you producing in millions or you're producing in few hundreds or thousands of quantity? So any business or services runs around these four parameters. So if you look at last 200 years, when you talk about industry 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you look at the bottom right, about 200 years back, think of it, CK the king, who is asking to make a personalized sword for himself. He will go to a guy, he will take a hammer and chisel, making a sword for me. Only one for CK. High mix, but low volume. Right? Not everybody has the same sword like CK. Because it is not easy to produce, it's not effective also in terms of commercialization. But when we moved forward with the innovation in industrialization, electrification, we were able to move to low mix, but high volume. That's where the automotive industry was picking it up. Everybody has the same car, but high volume, right? My daughter, when she grows up, I'm pretty sure even now, she wants her own thing, personalized, right? I don't want same dress like everybody else. Same like when she grows, maybe she do not want the same car like everybody else. So the industry or other consumer demands are moving towards personalization, customization. But now we have so many people, everybody wants their own phone, own car, own clothes, own services. So this is where comes the mass customization. And now those processes, the organizations who have been designed as low mix, high volume, have to transform to high mix, high volume. Mass customization at massive scale. This is where comes the industry 4.0, 5.0, X.0 as a continuous journey, which is basically about flexible manufacturing, intelligent manufacturing, reconfigurable processes, that today we can make something, tomorrow we can suddenly switch to something else. So the way, like I said, the way I explain about the transformation is because the way we design, produce, distribute, and consume is going to change. And that is forcing the companies, both in products as well as services, to change the way they do. Whether it is maybe a cafe, for example, they want to make a personalized latte for you, not a standard latte, right? If you want to go and buy something, can they take up your shape and size and make it product customized for you then and there? This is where the innovation comes in, how I can do it quicker and serve my client. So that's where I look at. The business model is also transforming. As you can imagine that when you have to do mass production, you just produce in millions, throw it onto the market, push, and hope consumer will buy, right? But if you are doing customization, you have to pull the demand. If there are 20 people in the room, I will be having 20 different requests to make different products for everybody. So this is where the pull model comes in. So to repeat myself, as I mentioned, the way consumer behaviors are changing, whether it's industrial or service, we need to think, how do we design our services and the solutions. Some industries, it is easier to change, but think of it, a manufacturing assembly line, it is much harder to change. But yes, organizations are looking into it. At the same time, how do we look at this transformation? Sustainability is another challenge. If you look at now sustainability in the thought process here, right? So traditional way of, again, you can think of it as a manufacturing or services. It is very linear, right? But every process has some energy requirement, right? In every process do produce some waste also. There's nothing called 100% efficiency, right? Energy and waste. But it is very linear so far. But we have to think of it a bit more sustainable, right? So traditional process of looking from design, manufacturing, production, and end of life before we decide to throw it as a waste or recycle it. The 6 are basically, as you call, redesign, recycle, remanufacture, reuse. You have to always question that where we can use and improve those things. This is where I said sustainability and digitalization come together. So once we know where we can reuse certain things, or we can redesign the way we design by 3D printing, for example, or additive manufacturing, for example, or maybe we can redesign the way we design by using augmented reality maybe, right? Or changing some innovation in material science for recycling. So once we start asking the question, again, this is not something new I'm talking here. As a process design, we have been talking about it for decades. But the difference is now we can use digital technologies to assist us to achieve those objectives, right? This is where I said we have to think about sustainability and digitalization together. And another term which you must be hearing a lot about, ESG or ESG, we call it triple bottom line, right? So whatever we do today as an individual or as an organization has economical impact, social impact, and the environmental impact, right? Environmental, basically some of these areas in the manufacturing or during the end of life cycle. If we think of economical doesn't mean have to be cheaper always, but what we can do better in terms of revenue also. And social impact, that if I'm producing something today, what social impact I have, not just among my employees, but also the neighborhood. So one of my clients who has a plant in Vietnam, for example, so we're having discussion that, okay, you have all things very nice. You have been taking care of your workforce to getting them COVID jabs and everything. But what about the waste you produce in a plant? Do you know where it is going actually? You might have a gauge, a certified waste collector maybe, that's good. But as a requirement, you should know what is happening with the waste at the end of it. Right? So that's why we have to look at the social impact as broadly. But how can they do it? Maybe they have some asset or waste management tracking solution to track this. Again, digital technology, they can do it because nobody's going to go along with the waste to see where it is going. We can use technology to track it, where it is going. What I'm saying here is, as you see, each process can be redesigned or reused or different ways, then we can figure it out. So this is where we talk about a bit of circular economy. You can relate to it the same way of looking at the design, production, assembly, and end of life, asking ourselves where we can do all those 6 R, and then try to reduce the energy consumption in the process. And energy doesn't mean only the electricity. Energy is every resource. It's even the people. Why I'm putting a lot more people than what should I not put in, right? So energy is anything which is required in the process to do the job. It's space also. Why do I need such a big space? Can I do it a small space? Because if I have smaller space, I have to consume less energy. So this is how we look at energy and waste in a circular form, and then evaluate the impact. Obviously, everybody look at the cost benefit first, which is easier to calculate. By doing this, okay, how much cost I have saved, or how many people I have been able to remove. But creativity and innovation comes in where I can make more money, revenue part of it, business model side of it. And then more importantly, the impact. Impact is not just, like I said, cost and revenue, but also the social impact. So the moment organizations start thinking about it in convergence, digitalization and sustainability, I'm pretty sure they will be much better off than their competitors. At the same time, a lot of things they have to do in the process. Some of these terms you might be familiar with. For example, how do we say that you are sustainable? Right? Is there an exam? Like when we do, whether IT or Polytechnic or university, we have to write exam that yes, PK is a master's in robotics. Right? So similarly, obviously there are some standards and frameworks. There are few of the popular ones. One of the most popular one is GRI. You might be knowing of Global Reporting Initiative, which is basically nothing but a list of activity you have to report and submit, which is globally accepted norm, if I can say. But that is also one of the tasks. So again, when we work with our clients who are working on sustainability and have to report one or more of this reporting mechanism every year, even in the reporting part, what we can do digitalization.